Oh, your sound suppression actually let it through this time. I heard you open your can.
Hey,
But
2025.
yeah, there you go. Cheers. I am finally dug out of my driveway of like 10 inches of ice and snow, and it took me 2 days because I was working the whole time during the day. People
Yeah,
that
it's
live
been.
in New York and
Yeah.
people places up there, we don't get this very often. So this is a very weird thing in Kentucky, and it's
As the saying does not go, we are not built for this.
no. Some
So
of us think we are, but then they end up with their cars in ditches on the side of the road, and you just point and laugh as you drive by. As long as nobody was hurt, of course. As long as nobody was hurt. But
of course.
all right. So before we jump in with today's awesome guest, we've been talking to for a while to get him on here. Welcome to the Aged Out Podcast, everyone. I'm one of your hosts, Michael Fantini, and with me, as always, is
Evan Worrell.
And you all know the drill, and if you don't, here it is. Comment, like, subscribe, share the video with anyone you think would enjoy it. We're on all podcast services for all the interview podcasts and some of the, like, mid-season breakdowns and everything and analysis. Head to Facebook and Instagram, give us a follow there. Never miss new content or things we're doing. Patreon.com or the join button here on YouTube if you want to support us financially, or agedoutpodcast.com. Grab yourself one of our shirts or stickers. That's all available easily and readily there. And then Aged Out Fundamentals. Play accent tap, play paradiddles. The playlist links in the video description. Your hands and your brain will thank you later. All right, kept it short. Evan, take it away.
Yeah, thankfully we got hooked up. We did the cold steel reaction a while back as we've gone down this HBCU style drumming, and thankfully have one of the prolific, social media legend out here, Mr. Harvey Thompson. What's up, man?
How y'all doing? How you doing? I'm chilling. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah,
Good,
man,
good.
we're good. Obviously, like we said before, just super thankful that you took the time to come on, talk, chit chat about drums, chit chat about band, just drumming in general, man. So we'll start off. I know I did a little bit of background on you, just Facebook, checking out the North Carolina A&T website for the band and stuff. I know you're from Brooklyn, so you're used to the cold, right?
A little bit. People say that, but I've been in the South for almost 20 years now, so it's converting.
You still got family up in New York?
Yes, my family's still up in New York and Brooklyn.
Okay,
Cool.
so you go up in the winter and you're like, I gotta go back home.
Yeah, I'm done with this.
You go back home to get, your seasoning.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. And you're pretty much you said an all New York fan base: Yankees, Mets, Nets, Islanders, Liberty. Although I don't think we touched. Are you a Giants, Jets? Like,
Come on now. Of course I'm a Giants fan. Win or lose, y'all.
Oh.
Win
Hey,
or lose.
hey, at
Die
least you've
hard.
got Malik Neighbors.
Win or lose.
There we
win or
go.
lose. There we go. There we
Should
go.
they have gotten rid of Daniel Jones? Go. It's a sports podcast now.
Sports podcast. Well, I know one person they probably shouldn't have gotten rid of, but all right.
Well, yeah, that's
You
pretty
know.
obvious. But
So-
all right, back to drums.
Anyway.
Go ahead, Evan.
But yeah, we've gone down this route. Tell us a little bit, how you got introduced to drumming. What was that first like light bulb or just experience that were like, I got to be a part of this, or I got to figure out more about this?
Well, surprisingly, people don't normally know this, but I got into drumming because of Ralph.
Okay.
We had a mutual friend that lived in his building, 1191. If you ever check out our BYOS brand stuff, you'll see 1191. That's the building where Ralph lived. And through the mutual friend, I met Ralph, and Ralph was already drumming. I didn't know anything about it, but when he did this right here, I was sold because I was already one of the type of people who was into tricks. So like I know card tricks.
Okay.
I did inline skating tricks, BMX bike tricks. So when I seen that, I was like, oh, that's actually, something that caught my attention. So I always was into the aesthetic of tricks and breakdance, big hype moves, and anything that give you a wow. That always drew my attention personally. So that's what got me into the drumming. And when I did try to get into straight drums, the director at the time was like, "Nah, it don't work like that. We need trumpets. Get on trumpet." So I was
Of
thrown on
course.
trumpet.
Of course.
I was thrown on trumpet. So for all you trumpeters, I do know my B flat concert scale, so try me. But but yeah, so I was thrown on to the horn for about 6 months, but I still worked hard to get into the drums. So that's how I got introduced to the drums through Ralph. And then, I joined the band, and then the rest was history. I met some good people who knew more than me. And I always been the person of, if you know more than me, I'm gonna make you my friend so I can learn something.
It's the way to do it, man. It's the way to
That's
do
a
it.
great philosophy.
Oh, yeah.
And, probably didn't know it at the time, but all the card trick stuff and maybe like the sleight of hand and all that stuff probably fed pretty well into the finger dexterity there.
Dexterity and everything. I was going to
Yeah.
ask, too, on that same vein, how old were you when this happened, when you got into it? Like college or high school? Like,
No, I was like probably 13, 14,
Okay.
maybe 14, 15. So I wasn't doing the drumming from the early age. I was
Yeah.
into the sports. I was more into the sport.
it's pretty similar to me. I didn't start till I was 14 either. I saw the movie Drumline, actually, and that's what made me want to do marching band in high school.
That's amazing. Shout out to Drumline.
Hey,
Dude, you love it or hate it. It's like a love-hate relationship, I think, for a lot of people. But I think what it did for getting kids interested in music at that time was sensational. A lot of people are like, oh.
hey, exposure is exposure.
Right. And even now, with the ability, you can watch it and still enjoy it.
It's still a
entertaining.
solid movie. It's still not a bad movie, but at this point, I definitely have to turn my drumming brain off at parts and like don't analyze it. Just enjoy the movie. Don't just shut up.
And even for people who are like real into sports and stuff, and you kind of saw how like athletic it was in the theater, like they're up against the wall doing the squats and stuff, and like, you done messed up the cadence. Like, here we go. Like that stuff was like, ooh, this is kind of like military vibe. Like I can get with this.
Yep.
Right.
Well, I was curious. That makes a lot of sense. I was wondering. One of my questions was like how you and Ralph got hooked up. I did not know that you guys were both from the same building, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, no, let's rephrase it. He
Okay.
lived in the building.
Okay.
I just, commuted to there, but I ended up basically living there too because I was there that much.
Yeah.
I have a big family, and I went and inherited Ralph's family too. So
There you
just all was nice and close.
Yep.
More family.
Never a bad thing.
And we'll probably rope back around to this, but we were just talking about Drumline, and I just saw the video where North Carolina A&T did like the remake of the halftime show from the movie at the Falcons game. I was like, all right.
Did that just happen?
Yes,
I need to go find the video for that. I did not know that was a thing.
I think that was actually December 1st.
Yeah, I just saw it when I was on the North Carolina A&T the website. I was like, oh, what's this? And I clicked and I was like, oh, snap. So you ended up leaving New York, obviously, and went down to Carolinas. What drew you to that area? Was it specifically for the drums? Something else?
Yeah, so to this day, one of the colleagues I work with and close friend, Ron Rogers, he met me back when I was in Brooklyn working and performing with the Brooklyn Steppers as Black Fire Percussion. If you look up Black Fire, you'll see that we got some crazy chops there. Our instructor was Tim Green. Tim Green marched the Cadets 2000. He was center snare. So it's a full circle. As you start looking into the people that helped develop me and Ralph to where we at now. But so it started with being in Brooklyn. So like I said, it's a full circle moment. We met Tim Green. I was in Brooklyn Steppers, and that's where like everything just started to really, really build and grow within us. We was a dancing drum line.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Yeah, okay.
We was a dancing drum line where we just, we would dance a lot. We would play with the band, but when you seen us, we would dance. It wasn't too much rudimental involved. But then when Tim got into the picture, he said, "This year y'all not dancing. Y'all gonna learn how to play." And he basically switched us to about a year to basically learn how to play the right techniques and stuff. I'm not gonna forget Eric Bird, who was also the instructor at the time, who was teaching us. He's definitely a big part of it as well, because like I said, he was studying the tapes and creating stuff from tapes that he studied from different collegiate programs.
Oh wow!
We didn't have collegiate programs, but to take it back, so we did a really good show. I met Ron there. A&T was at the same show as as Black Fire, and I met Ron, and at that time he was saying like, I need to get you to A&T so that we could take it to the next level. That was the conversation. And I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. But since then, we had stayed in contact until I basically got out of school. And then making my way downtown, walking back.
It's a catchy line, man.
Yeah, it works.
Um,
So
so you've been on staff with Cold Steel, North Carolina A&T since 2009, right?
yes, 2008, 2009.
Okay. And I'm sure it's probably evolved and changed over the years, but like, what's your current role, responsibilities that you do with the group?
Well, I am currently the drumline coordinator, right? And and I'm the director and the instructor, but the correct term is the coordinator. So what I basically do for Cold Steel is I'm not gonna say everything, but everything. And what I mean by that is, I run a lot of the auditions, I write the music, I, create a lot of the stuff that they playing, I write all the show music, but it's still a team effort. Ron Rogers have his part on how he developed their minds and how they perform. And then I have other help, which is we utilize our students, our section leaders. They're a big part of what we do. You know what I'm saying? And then of course I have another helping hand, my former student, but now great friend is Kenji, who helps us out as well with the writing and just getting the group together because I'm not always there. Well, I am always there, but for certain times when I can't be there, he steps in and helps me a lot.
I think that's huge too, like getting the section leaders invested into it like that, and kind of helping them like gain their arranging or teaching or writing chops as well. I think that's a thing that has become more prevalent and common even in like the drum corps world, which like we're more familiar with, is like people like Tom Rarick and Colin McNutt and Tom Monks and those people being like, the kids kind of have a better grasp on some of the more like current trendier stuff. So I'm going to like pick their brain as well. And that way it's like a full circle investment of like, we're all in this together, like to make something cool, make something really good, make it sound good, make it look good. So I think I think that's a great setup.
And it's a part of development. So like you get them the floor, right? And then you also humble them with that floor because sometimes they think their ideas are the greatest, and you have to let them know it's not and why it's not. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's a part of growth. Like you have to learn how to take constructive criticism and take that, rework it, and get it going. It's like using Chat GPT when it's be like recreate.
Yes. That's a good point as well. I still have some of the first licks that I wrote in high school and stuff, and it's just like go. But this like, all right, well, what's the point? Like, what does this line up with? What's the other parts of the battery doing? What's the rest of the band doing right now? Like, why are you doing this? So that's a good point as well. Like, why are you writing this? What are you thinking about? Teaching is, we've always said on here after Pete Sappinen was on here that drumming is kind of like an archaic pass down from generation to generation, and it's like tribal knowledge. So you kind of just are tribally passing it on.
Like a lot of it is documented, but at the same time, most of it gets passed on just by teaching, just through rote, just showing someone how to do it, and then doing it a lot with them, and then they gain the knowledge and they go through the fire. And I mean, as time goes on, obviously with technology, more and more is documented and resources out there and video lessons, but there's still nothing will ever match, at least at this point, from what I can think of, someone that really knows what they're talking about and doing right in front of you, showing it and walking you through and teaching you how to properly play and march and do all that stuff.
Yep. It's very important to be able to show them.
Yep. Yes. So Brooklyn Steppers, Blackfire Percussion, you said Eric Bird, Tim Green in there, which, obviously shout out 2000 Cadets, legendary. And then Ron Rogers, you said, was kind of the lead in to A&T. And then you're arranging, you're working obviously with the rest of the team, because obviously what I've discovered is that it seems like a lot of the HBCUs have a persona of the drumline and it's with the band, but also like a separation from the band at times.
Oh yeah,
Does that seem accurate?
that's 1,000,000,000,000% accurate, especially with us. I can't speak for no one else's program, but my drum line, our drum line, we we're not year round, but we almost, because we getting booked all the time to do a lot of like different type of gig, corporate gig, kid gigs, no matter what. So we always busy, even during times that we have games. We might do a performance that morning before we link back up with the rest of the program,
Yeah.
because we are heavily requested. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And and when we're the type of drum line that we are, we're a performance drum line. Yeah, we do some playing, but I'm heavy on performing to people who don't understand drums, because
Yeah.
those people pay bills.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
that's
great for
something. Go ahead,
building
Evan.
resources. I was gonna say building resources.
Well, that's something we pointed out in the reaction video we did. I was like, this is so cool because I feel like it's way more, one, digestible to the normal person that doesn't know, they don't understand what a flam drag is. They don't know what a book report is. So where like they can watch it and it can be entertaining. They can grasp that it's being done very well. It's very readable and digestible for the average person. But at the same
Yeah.
time, you guys still have that moment where it's like, all right, now we're going to chill for a sec and we're just going to throw down some notes, and almost just fitting that little bubble of that in within the performative aspect makes it impactful in itself. Even if you can tell their hands are moving faster. You can tell they're hitting the drum more than they were. So like even the normal person can grasp it from that perspective when you are throwing down book reports and flam drags and crazy rudimental stuff. So that was something I really appreciated and hadn't really ever picked up on in your all's world of the activity.
And I appreciate that, because for a long time, that's how I always created my music. It's like a 70-30.
Mm-hmm.
70% for people who don't know drums and 30% for the people who do.
Mm.
And that's always been my focus, because, when we say like we go do an NBA game halftime, you know, the percentage of people that's in there drunk don't care about Earthers, paradiddles, book reports. They don't care. They
Yeah.
just want to be entertained,
Yep.
Yeah.
and that's that portion of it. But if we go to a venue or a place where there are drummers, we still could give you something that looks so easy, but if you give it a thorough try, it's super hard to do,
Yeah.
because the rudimentary structure is still hard. And that's something I literally kind of picked up from the old Santa Clara. That's why I'm a major fan of Brent Gussick and Jim. My whole warm up sequence came from me watching them so much, because I like the fact that I know it burns, but they face was just like, no, it don't.
Yeah.
That makes you talking about that inspiration from Murray and Jim makes so much sense, because when we watched that video that we reacted to of Cold Steel, we're like, man, this is just such an incredibly long sequence. And we noted like how mentally demanding that is to just like stay in it and not like get lost in the sauce. But at the same time, there were weaves in and out of like, we're playing like a traditional kind of double beat type exercise to work on this skill set, but it has a backbeat, it has a groove, so it is enjoyable for all the sections and like the audience to listen to. And it also has that technicals aspect where all of a sudden you're just like, ripping some cheddar cheeses or whatever. But the thing that was cool as well is just how continuous and streamlined it was, where things just changed based on visual cues from the section leaders or musical cues. Like all of a sudden, like you hear some buzzes to like, all right, we're switching gears. And it was all very much student led versus, you go to a DCI warm up and it's like, start the Met, stop the Met, start the Met. We're doing this section. We're going A to B. All right, we're doing the opener. It's very disruptive when you're just like viewing it.
Yeah, so everything you said is what I do behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it's about teaching them people are there to see them, not me. That's the first thing. That's the way I always think about it. They're not there to see me. They're there to see them. So, we teach them how to do it, but we also want them to put their own personality in it, because each year going to be different based on who the leadership is. The staff stay the same, but you want to use the input of your leadership. That's why you put them there. If you don't have no faith in them, why are they there?
Yeah, true.
So that's a major part of it, just keeping everybody apart and, having section leaders, each section has their own fans.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why if you watch this, you'll notice that each section is doing something. Some other organizations, they don't like why they snares doing the solo for the cymbals to do anything, or for the tenors to do anything, or the chest tenors to do anything, because they want the focus to be on one section. But what about people who don't give a damn about snares?
Yeah, it's there's subcultures within the culture of the drumline itself.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
how I look at it. It's more so, not everyone want to see tenors. Not everyone want to see bass. So, but bass people want to see bass. Tenor people want to see tenors. So that's my approach. Like, I feel like if you play that instrument and now you going to watch a drum line, you want to see the same instrument that you played doing something. Not, oh, I got to watch the snares because the focus is mainly on snares. And I'm a snare drummer saying this.
That makes sense too when you just think about like a band and stuff. Like even if they're like trading solos and stuff, it's not like the bass guitar player just like completely drops out or whatever. He might just like, all right, I'll like have this ostinato bass pattern on top of like this person's moment to shine, but I'm not just like dropping out of the music in the field completely. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of like Cold Steel and like how highly sought after, which I saw on there on the website, like if you're wanting to book a gig, email Harvey. And you said it was like year round. How does that work for your all's like schedule of like re-auditioning and stuff? Is it always at the same time every year?
Well, a lot of time after you after you do a year in the drum line, you don't necessarily have to re-audition unless I see your hands falling the opposite direction. But more than likely, they love it here. They love doing it. So everybody is working. And if I could, I probably could have 100-piece drum line. That's how many of them really want to still do it.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Because they actually love being a part. So, that's just the only thing. I love it. I love seeing it. I love seeing the change. But like I said, if I could, I would have 100 of them. 100 members. Why? Because no one else doing it.
Well, already, you guys and Norfolk State that we've watched so far, just the size and the level of clarity still achieved with what's being played at the size. Like I think you guys were 12 the video we watched, and Norfolk might have been like 13, 14, 12, somewhere in the same range. I'm like, in our world, in the drum corps world, it's like you're pushing it if you go 10. Or you like, yeah, let's go 8 this year so we can be cleaner. It's like, but you guys were still ripping some stuff that sounded great with 12 plus snare drummers. It's just wild to me.
And it's a complete different world. You talking about college.
Yeah.
We talking about collegiate level, and then DCI is people from different collegiate programs. It's almost like, and if you put that in high school terms, that would be an outreach program that you're playing for. You know what I'm saying? So of course it's going to be completely different. And then in our culture, every week we have new shows and new music. Every week.
Okay, every week. Dang.
Wow.
If you go watch our band Instagram, you'll see every week we got a whole different show, top to bottom. So, and it's not on a competitive level like DCI where you going to win a ring. Like, of course, if it was like that, we probably still would have shows every week. That's just our culture. We cannot sit on one show for 6 months or matter the time. We would lose our mind.
Man, I've told Evan this. Every drumline I was a part of, drum corps, indoor, high school, college, by the time that season was over, whether it was a fall or a summer or a spring, I was done. There are people where I'm like, I wish I had one more show. It's like, we've been doing this for 90 days. I'm ready to not play this music tomorrow. I love it and loved all of it. But like I never got done with a season and was like, oh, I just wish there was one more week to do this show some more. It's like, we've been beating this horse to death for a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. And, there is, like, for learning stuff so quickly and being exposed to so much stuff, material over and over, a benefit to that in building up your, your sight reading chops and your ability to digest music quickly and figure out patterns in music, whether it's like you're talking about rudimental patterns or whether you're talking about key signatures and scales and stuff like that as well. Do you all have you seen like an uptick in support through like the thrust of like social media? Like obviously 2008, 2009, when you're kind of there and getting started, YouTube is around, but kind of. But now, you know, with YouTube booming and Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, has that allowed you guys to get into that like corporate world and like these gigs and stuff like more successfully or more exposure?
I'm gonna say yes and yes. No, because like a lot of times on the private side, you know, a lot of the gigs we get is from within. So people might know someone who could reach us, you know. But then some other things we may get that's big, it happens from social media, you know. But a big standpoint for social media for us is it helps for recruitment.
Yeah.
With the younger generation, it's a when I tell you, it's an extremely heavy tool because when they come in, they kind of already have an idea of what to play and what to do because they saw it. And the big part of being a part of any program, DCI, WGI, is understanding the mannerism, how they hold their stick, how they approach certain things. Because who feel like having to reteach that?
Right.
Yeah.
You're already familiar with like kind of what the exercise program is a little bit like, you know, how they wear the drums, so that makes a ton of sense. I think that applies, like you said, to both worlds. Any drumming world or any gig. Like I once watched I guess it was like a YouTube docuseries when what band was that? It wasn't Tool. It was Dream Theater. They were auditioning for a new drummer, but all these dudes came in and auditioned, and they'd already been listening to Dream Theater songs. So like, oh, we know the charts because we've been listening to Dream Theater songs. So just getting familiarized with the groups that you're trying to go out for.
In my example to that for you younger children that may be watching, look at it as a job interview. Why would you go to a job that you don't know anything about?
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah. Like
good advice.
That's why I always try to do some prep for the podcasts and stuff, you know, just so that way, you know, I'm getting my podcast chops going and my brain in the right headspace to talk to, you know, you or whoever's going to be on, learn a little bit about what I can. So that way we can, you know, have some good conversation, bring up hopefully some things that somebody can take away in a positive way. Shout out to obviously to North Carolina A&T, the Marching Blue and Gold. I always want to pay
blue and gold marching machine.
Blue and gold marching machine. All right.
Got to get it right.
It does say marching blue and gold on the website though.
It do?
I'm pretty sure.
No, it don't.
Check.
Double check.
Hold on.
Please double check.
Because I might eat some crow here in a second, but I may have copied it down wrong, but let's see here.
Yeah, you gotta go check.
The blue and gold marching machine. All right.
No,
I definitely.
Evan said he prepared for these things. I don't believe him.
All right. Yeah, I thought I copied it right off the website, but my bad. Dr. Kenneth Ruff, who's the director of bands, I apologize. But along the way to, in tandem with your gig at Cold Steel and being at the university, you've also developed this other project with Ralph Nader, the BYOS, the Bring Your Own Style. What was the inception of that concept, or do you remember back to like, hey, we should do this?
I definitely remember. So, okay. So the way that we started BYOS, you know, we was in Germany, and we was touring with Seed. I don't know if you looked them up, but they Seed with 3 E's.
3 E's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. They're like a German pop band. They really dope. And when we was out there, during that time, I already did one tour with them, but then brought Ralph out to join the tour. And that's when Zymox was just starting out. And they gave Ralph 2 pads to bring out to Germany. Right? Ralph told him to bring a pad because I was going to be out there too. So after we learned our tour gig, like what we was going to play and stuff, we had a lot of downtime. We was in Europe. Our TVs, was only playing German. We didn't know, and so we just said, you know what? Let's do some videos. Let's drum, because we already was drumming to songs and stuff as kids. That's how we used to always practice.
I was gonna
But
say you guys pretty much turned into a thing that I feel like every drummer always does, and credit to you all for actually taking it and sticking with it and doing it well. Because like I know I've forever have drummed to songs, just play paradiddles or make up licks or whatever.
right. So we was doing it right. So we did our first video that was in the studio. All right, we did that in the studio style, and then the guys from Seed was like, "Yo, Berlin got so much art and graffiti. Why don't y'all take it outside and do it in places like that and stuff?" So we said, all right." So we took it outside and did it, and then our other homeboy Keon, like we told him we was gonna do it every day, and he challenged us. He's like, "No, y'all ain't. We competitive." So we was I think we did 30 videos in 30 days.
Dang.
We would make it up, shoot it, edit it, and then go eat.
Wow, that's impressive.
That was,
That's a lot.
that
That's
was
a
the
lot of
process.
content.
And then while that one was uploading, we already was start on making the next one because all we had was downtime. We had nothing to do.
What year was that?
2013, 2014.
Okay, so like 11 years ago, a little over 11 years ago at this point, which that timeline tracks for me when I first saw one of the first videos.
We did it. We was like, going crazy with it, doing it. And then during that time, while we was in Europe, we had got contacted from guys from Evans Diodario, and they asked us what sticks we like and all that good stuff. So, as young Black Americans coming from an urban area, who wouldn't want to have free sticks?
Heck yeah, free sticks.
To be honest with you, anyone will want free sticks. So started with that, and it was just cool to be endorsed with a company. And then during that time, they connected us with Mapex, and Mapex threw us a deal, and we was running with them. But now we currently with Ludwig. But like I said, part of the story is made so people just know. But so that was like the beginning of it, and we just will keep doing videos. And during the video stage, it came with learning and understanding shot composition, audio. We was learning as we was going. It was like, dang, what cameras look better? What's the best shot to shoot in? Because our hands is going so fast, we don't want it too blurry. Then it's angles. It's more so what looks good on the eye. What's eye level? Is that too low? Shooting from under, shooting from this side, this angle. So we used to set it up on a tripod, but then always get a person that was just walking by to do a random shot so that we could just get a random perspective.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's smart.
We is on a tripod, like, hey, how you doing? Think it's okay if you could just film us one time? And we'll let them film us. Sometimes it'd be good, sometimes it'd be bad, but it was just the thought of just getting a different perspective into our shot as it was growing. And the whole time we were just figuring it out. We both had on headphones. We had a splitter, picking out the songs. For a long time it was, let's not take a popular song. Let's find a song, dig deep for a song, and make the song more popular based on what we do, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Make people find the song and download the song so that they could be part of that song, And then with me being more into tricks and Ralph was more on the DCI side, that's what really brought it together because he already had marked Blue Devils. During the time he went and did Blue Devils, I'm 4 years older than Ralph, so I was already too old to do it. But every time he came home, he would teach me what he know, all that good stuff, and I would show him whatever new tricks and stuff I knew, so that way we still was, making it a good thing. So we did all that, and then that's how it all became. The whole just bring yourself, being yourself. And then another big part was what we recognized was in Europe at the time, there wasn't nothing in Europe going on like that. Not just the drumming on with music, but just the whole idea of marching percussion.
Yeah.
Especially show style marching percussion. Like they don't have anything like what we have in the States, where you can go to any state in America and find drum lines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Easy.
the only thing that I really know of, at least over here too, has been like, top secret. And even that is a little bit different where they're like, I think they're called like the hostels they travel to or
Yeah.
something.
They in Switzerland, I believe.
Netherlands, something like that.
Netherlands.
Yeah.
Something. One, two. I'm sorry, guys, for not knowing exactly, just in case.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I think it's the Netherlands, but people feel free to, fact check me on that. But yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And, what you're talking about too with just the editing and how visually it is. So what you guys did, it kind of comes back to that 70-30 a little bit. Although for those videos, I would maybe argue on my end, it's maybe a little bit more 50-50 of like technical and just like, hey, have you seen like these stick tosses and stuff these dudes are doing? Because there's some stuff in there, like challenging stuff.
Just so we get it right, real quick, it's Switzerland.
Switzerland. All right.
Yeah.
I was correct the first time.
Yeah, all right, you were. Just like just like you were correct on the A&T band. Yeah.
So like even with that, we for the video stuff, we said the same thing. We want to make it good enough, right? Ralph will tell you, we used to watch the video with no audio to see if it was still entertaining.
Oh.
Like, will people still accept this if the audio was out? And what another thing we learned is your audio, you can have a bad video and good audio, but you can't have a good video and bad audio.
That's true.
It do not work like that.
That's true. The number of times, even personally on YouTube, because I watch like podcasts and things on YouTube a lot and stuff, I will click on a video, and if the audio quality, even if the video quality is like 4K pristine, but the audio is messed up somehow, I'm like, I can't sit through this. I can't do it.
That's something too about that makes some of those old lot videos from like the early 2000s and like late 90s where it's like the drum line and there's like the one street light and you can't see anything but like almost their silhouettes, but it sounds incredible.
Sounds great.
All right, whatever, I'm in.
Yeah. Watch the whole thing
video.
on repeat.
Which is kind of my argument too, a little bit for modern DCI, with how visually heavy things have gotten with like visual general effect. I'm like, man, can I enjoy this show if you guys were just standing still playing it? Because if I can't enjoy listening to it while you're just standing still, then there's a problem. I do wish that there was some recorrection a little bit in DCI where music was a little bit more at the forefront, but that's for a topic for a different day.
We're gonna say it here first. DCI, give it probably another 5 to 10 years when it's all gonna change, because you gotta remember the younger generation now, they still doing the DCI things, but they still learning the newer stuff.
Yes.
And it's gonna take that generation of students to become the teachers to start implementing it. Just give it time.
Some of these people that are in their current roles, obviously, I think this year too, there's been a lot more like percussion caption heads that are like first, second year people getting a chance at the gig, which I love seeing the new blood come into that activity.
I've been waiting for it for a while. Not that I don't like what the guys that have been there for a while have been doing, but it's just always good to have fresh perspective, new brains, new ears, new eyes, all that stuff getting involved.
Also, 30 videos in 30 days is pretty. I'll just that's pretty disciplined.
Heck, during the drum corps and indoor season, when we're trying to put out 2 to 3 YouTube videos a week during the competitive seasons, Evan and I are like, you got to record again tonight? All right, I'll get on at 7:30. Let's make this happen.
See, we was dedicated to it, because even on days like when we go on tour, we would go to the venue and we would do our sound check first, like 6, 7 in the morning, but we don't play until 11 p.m. All that dead space, me and Ralph was going to do a video.
Yeah.
It'll take us an hour or two to create 32 counts. That's easy.
Yeah.
And take us another 15 minutes to memorize it. And now we can go outside and play it, perform it.
Yeah. And I bet the more you all made, just like anything in life, the more reps you got at it, the faster you were able to come up with a new lick, or you would get a new idea and you could memorize it even quicker, and you'd repurpose certain things you wrote 3 days ago for that video, and it just gets more streamlined, more optimized and efficient.
Like, yeah, it was just like, real easy. And the only thing that we wish we would have done to this day was writing it, because we wasn't writing it. Like, we could both write, but we wasn't writing those things because it was easier for us to just make it up, remember it, shoot, go to the next one, go to the next
So
one. Go
some
to
of those
the
licks only exist in those videos that are out there. There's no like notebook you all had that you wrote them all down.
Nope.
Man, you could sell that.
Nope.
Oh man, was there a moment along the ride when like you kind of both knew like, all right, we're on to something, like we're getting some traction, like people are paying attention to this, or was it just kind of all organic?
All organic. To this
Yeah.
day, when we make a post, we get excited about it. Like, yo, we hope this the one.
Yeah. I mean, you all
That's just
are a lot bigger than we are, and we've been doing this for 7 years now, and we still get excited. Like, we'll screenshot the YouTube analytics, like, hey, look how this video did in the first hour, and we still get like that dopamine hit, or there is a rush to it. It's exciting, it's fun,
yeah.
it's motivating.
And you know, too, if it's something that's getting traction like that, it's something that people like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, let me say that. Like, so a lot of things isn't written, but we did write some of them, and it was. We always said it would be based on the number count. So, like, if we could did something and it got 50,000 views, we like, all right, let's write this for the people because
Yeah.
obviously they like it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. It was one of those situations. But now we pretty much write every single thing. Just
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Just that way.
We got to write it before AI start writing it for us.
I was going to ask that a few minutes ago when we were talking about technology and just like the game changing. I've already said this to a few guests before. How long before people were just like, you have people that write drumline books for high school marching band shows. I guarantee you could develop a generative AI that'll just like, you feed it the win score and like it spits out a pit book, and like you let it use like all the drum corps shows of all history and like HBCU band shows, and it just like spits out your book for you in 10 minutes.
I mean, I'm part of a few like high school band design teams, and if you're ever in a rut or just like your brain, I've already input stuff into Chat GPT. It's like, hey, Chat, design a high school marching band show that's 8 minutes long, incorporates these themes of light and darkness, and like it's going to be 4 movements, and give me some musical and visual cues, and it'll be like boom, 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 boom. It's like instantaneous, and maybe it's not great, like you said, but you can take that and you're like, oh, all right, I can,
That's a good idea that I can refine.
Yeah, or like it'll give you musical, like, oh, use Interstellar's Hans Zimmer, and you're like, all right, well, maybe not that piece, but I get where your head's at.
I like where you're coming from.
But yeah, Chat GPT's. So obviously things have gone great. Kudos to you guys for developing an awesome brand. And now you guys do stuff with that as well, where you give clinics and stuff, right? You go around and kind of talk about composition and what it is to like make a solo or make a duet, or
we also created the BYOS Alphabet. I don't know if you looked into that.
I have not.
Well,
write it down.
Look it up so you can see. It's the BYOS Alphabet, and basically
Googling right now.
You can get the poster. You could get it. It's basically Morse code for drummers. It's set to easy, medium, hard. It's 26 letters like the regular alphabet, so that you can play any word. And then in the vowels, only in the vowels you have tricks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. So I could play your name. I could play a school name because each count is only 2. There's only 2 counts for each letter. So
okay.
I'm looking at it right now. It looks like it's like we have the rudiments, like the 40 PAS rudiment sheet or whatever. It's almost like your all's version to where are these like the staples of what you all write a lot within your videos and stuff? So it's like this is a C or a D.
No, not necessarily, but like when we was creating it, we was trying to like, if you look on it from the left side is like white bar, that's all easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Look at the yellow in the middle is medium, and then the red is like hard.
Okay, yeah.
So it's broken down to easy, medium, hard, so that you could get a taste of almost everything depending on what you play.
That's awesome. I'm gonna dive into this later. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Play your name. That's where you start.
Yeah, I'll play my name.
That's really cool. That's smart too. Put something like that together.
So something like that is to help. When you get writer's block. If you need 4 bars, that's just a 2-letter. I mean, not 4 bars, 2 counts. That's a 2-letter word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you need 4 bars, 8-letter word. Just
What's the word of the day?
Yeah.
we got those too. We got lick of the day, word of the day, word of the
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
You know, we post some of those and everything now too. Just stuff to do. If you watch Strike Percussion, they play Strike in one of their shows using the
Okay.
alphabet. Yeah, just
Hey,
a lot.
that's a fun little Easter egg.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? Here we go.
it's just something to, like I said, we all get writer's block, but if you just literally be like, let me open up this this medical dictionary and start playing those words.
I haven't drummed in a few days, but I'm gonna learn my first name here from that alphabet soon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna learn my name.
Hey, Chat GPT,
And if
create
you
a
look,
lick from the BYOS Alphabet.
if you go to YouTube and see it, we got breakdowns for each letter on how to play each letter and what to do.
Yeah.
So we did that as well too. So like and we putting out a new one on the drum pad doing the same thing, but just a newer rendition on how to break it down.
Do you all have all those how-to videos in like their own playlist? That we could link the playlist in the video description.
Yeah.
All
Whole
right.
playlist. Yeah.
That playlist will be in the video description of this video, everybody.
And then you said they're making a pad. So who's making the pad?
No, we already have the pad.
You already have the pad. All right.
Yeah, it's the BYOS spear.
Boom. There we go. Off world. That is, dude. That's quite an evolution too. Of like, you guys are doing this thing in Germany. It's fun. You love doing it. Obviously, you love creating the content, creating the licks. But now it's also morphed into even more to that, where we're talking about full circle again, like educating the next generation, or just whoever's the up and coming person and trying to get locked into the culture of drumming, the culture of collegiate marching band, DCI, WGI, whatever the case may be. And even for us, like, it helps you broaden your horizons, because Mike and I very easily got into like a very narrow thing of, DCI and WGI, and they're like, man, like, especially in these off seasons, like we gotta broaden the horizons. We gotta talk about some different stuff. We gotta make more fresh content.
I'm glad you guys are tapping into the HBCU groups, because you will see that our culture is different. Everybody has their own persona and style. You know what I mean? We are 1,000% competitive to the point where, our alumni and alumni probably still hate each other to this day because of the school you went to. And it'd be like that.
The identity thing is something I love the most about it so far. Dipping my toes in the water, tradition, the identity, all the different groups have, because that used to be something that I loved about DCI so much, because every corps had their own unique uniform. That you knew that was the Boston Crusaders coming onto the field, or you knew that was the Bluecoats coming onto the field. Now that they've adopted more of that WGI style uniform and they tailor the costume to what the show is, like, the visual identity's gone a little bit. And then even in terms of the playing, especially, people like to emulate a lot nowadays in the indoor and drum corps activity. And not so much in drum corps, I'd say, but in indoor, you'll see like one group win playing a certain style of writing. And then like the next year, all these groups are integrating that approach throughout their show here and there. And it's like, it all just kind of makes it meld together and kind of become a very gray, like everybody's very samey. And I feel like 20 years ago in drum corps, you knew when a Tom Monk's drumline was playing a Tom Monk's book. And I'm not saying you can't take from each other and evolve, but I don't know. It just seems like a lot of it's like melding together nowadays.
Well, it's different for us, like it's like, hold on, that school did that, or we not doing it.
And I love that. I love the competitiveness. I love the throwing shade at each other, and
like you said, the college rivalries. Like you would you hear about them in sports and stuff all the time.
And, but, it's the rivalry, but we still all cool with each other. Like we all know each other, especially on the adult teaching side. Like we all know each other. It'd be mainly the kids. For us, we just be laughing at it. We do our small shit talk back and forth, but it is what it is, man. It's harmless.
Yeah.
until it's not.
It's
Until
like,
it's not.
yeah, it's all in good fun until somebody's. But I think that's probably, I would say, one of the misconceptions that I had about that style of drumming too early on is that I think we've been guilty on here of saying like, DCI and WGI is like the highest level of drumming in our activity, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, that's maybe true in like that lane, but there's also these other different lanes that achieve extremely high, just it's a different flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And back in the day, my argument used to be it's not even an argument. It used to be it's easier for someone from show style to learn a DCI book than someone from DCI to learn what we do.
That's probably true. I probably, even being naive to your all's world still, I'd probably agree with that almost, thinking about it initially. Just because there's so much more than just what the hands do in your all's world. Whereas like DCI, I mean, yeah, you have a lot more body choreo nowadays than you used to in DCI, but even then it's a lot just like if your hands can do it, you can probably do it. There's a lot more beyond the hands that you all do.
There's less feel, though, in the DCI realm.
True, too.
It's all very mechanical and like, just, I don't know. I think that the groups in the HBCU style play off of each other really well. Like everybody's really in tune with what's going on everywhere. And sometimes like the blinders come on.
But then also if y'all haven't noticed, our instrumentation isn't the same always either in our world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
Really different instrumentation. I know my bass line we do. We have 12 to 14 bass drums, and it's split to tonals, mids, scotch, bottoms, and then we got the chest tenors that look like bass drum, where they just play like this. The chest tom, the single tom, who's like that's the in between drum. You know what I'm saying? But we use them because their legs are the most free to do a lot of running, jumping, tossing drums, flipping, a lot of stunts. Just like with cymbals, the cymbals do a lot of visual stuff too. And then our multi tenors, they're the icing on the cake. You get to hear just they're the icing, not too much with them.
No, it makes a lot of sense. And, our exposure in the last few months has been, really eye-opening in a lot of senses, especially to just because, I know a lot more now than I did before I like March Drum Corps and WGI and indoor and stuff. So I would say my early days of drumming in high school and even in college was like very naive and like just pigeonholed with what I was viewing.
Sure. So my question to y'all is, so y'all did Cold Steel and Norfolk, right?
So far, yeah.
So far, yeah.
All right. How do you not compare us, but how do you see both groups? Like how different we are?
Well, I know that the instrumentation is a little bit different too, because Norfolk, I think, doesn't do the same thing with like what you were talking about with the bass drums. Like as far as like the tonal and the side drums, I think theirs were more like similar to what we do or what we were used to with like DCI and WGI, like all the tonal stuff. And I would say that theirs is Norfolk's is still probably a little bit more closer to like WGI and DCI core style, and your guys has a little bit more of like the traditional, I don't want like show band style, if that's the appropriate term to say for that.
Yeah, that's fine.
To me, they both had elements of both worlds, but I think from what I've seen initially, Norfolk tends to be more what Evan and I could typically relate to from what we're used to. There's a lot more core style. More of the music they play is more rudiment heavy. You're both playing difficult rudimental material at different times. It's just for different like amounts
quantities.
Of time. Quantities.
Maybe not a 70-30.
Yeah, it might not be a 70-30 split with Norfolk. But yeah, that's my opinion so far. You're trying to get us in trouble. You're trying to make us take a stand here.
Even more so, like I've been
'Cause I-
watching more stuff.
I was gonna say next, you guys should check out Bethune-Cookman.
That's what I was going to ask. Who else should we check out?
South Carolina State, really good drum line. Who else? Who else I consider?
I just
that?
watched like the Jackson State. Was that who's in the Rose Bowl parade?
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
And theirs is all like
even more different than our style.
Yeah, because they're even like on like the old tradition or Mylar, and like it's very, very traditional. Almost takes me. I don't want to. No one be offended, but almost reminds me more of like like military, old school military, like old guard and fife, like rope drumming, stuff like that. You would see where the bass drum stuff's real unison, not like a lot of split action, but reminiscent of that style to me. So
yeah, but if you once again, if you really pay attention, they actually playing some good beats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's our culture. Like everything seemed just chill and fun, but when you really dig deep and look, you're like, damn, everyone is actually throwing down.
There's a lot going on, yeah.
Yeah. So
I was watching. I think Rob Martinez on his channel, the R-Bass 311, put up like it was just like a snare circle of them like warming up, and the quality of the what they're playing, the downstrokes, the double strokes, the roll quality. It's like, yeah, man, it's in there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's some more stuff especially obviously for us in between what we would consider like our competitive WGI and DCI seasons, so much more material out there for us. I think people send us I've been screenshotting like, you need to check out this. I'm like, all right, I'll get to them.
Yeah, we've got a list that we've been adding to and stuff, and that's something cool that I've kind of gathered from exploring this world of. We always said, even within the drum corps world, there's more than one way to skin the cat when it comes to marching percussion. It even more reinforces that to expose yourself to this side of the activity and to drumming itself. It's like there's just so many ways to do it, and they can all be great. And it's so cool and so refreshing. Like, if you're buried in this world, go check this stuff out, and it's still really awesome, even if it's very different.
Yeah, that's cool. Yep.
So we'll kind of roll out to the red carpet for you a little bit. Anything else that that I created this list, but I don't want to like just be like, oh, we're done with my list. Is there anything else you feel like we need to check out or tap into, or anything else that people need to do?
Well, one, I say, just check out just the culture itself, even the high schools. The high school students have grown up. They moving fast. They doing some good stuff. You got some schools in North Carolina that's doing really good. Florida got a really good drum community going on. The Drum Network, my homeboy Eric. But yeah, that's just that's a big part of it. Just paying attention to not just WGI and DCI. Like I said, I watch WGI, DCI. I respect all the folks there. I know a lot of the people there, and I get to hang out with some of the elites and drum with them. Like I said, so that's cool that they understand what we do, and are trying to, the whole Ludwig team, Concel with them guys all pushing forward to kind of understand the culture in that matter. So that's why I appreciate y'all too, hopping in and shout out to Cole still being your first group, of course. Well, Ricky Bobby said, if you ain't first, you're last.
There it is.
Oh my gosh, what a great cultural reference.
I don't think there's a better way to end it than that quote right there. I think we should just stop.
If you want to book the Cold Steel Drumline, hit them up.
Yep.
Yeah. Or if you want to book BYOS, hit me up too.
There you go.
Yeah,
there'll be links to everything related to Harvey, Cold Steel, BYOS in the video description here too as well.
Yeah. One last thing. For those who watching and you guys, almost every show if you go to the band page and watch our band, the Drumline, we do drum features almost every show. So, it'd be different type of features. Some go with the band, some be perfect, some don't be perfect. It's just a lot to be trial and error. But the whole idea is just, just like we showcase the dances, we showcase every other instrument. Drum lines are normally in the back, and it's time for us to be showcased different. That's all.
Yeah. Gotta love it.
All right.
Well, man, thanks again, for blessing us with the time and just, help opening the eyes a little bit.
Yep.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Yep. Everybody, comment, like, subscribe, share the video, Facebook, Instagram, patreon.com, join button on YouTube, agedoutpodcast.com, and go to the Aged Out Fundamentals playlist and drum every day. We'll see everybody in the next one.
Peace.